Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA. So if you guys like the content, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Would love to have you join. Don't miss another video, so be sure to hit that bell icon. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we've been following ADA for quite a long time. We talked about the accumulation phase when we were down here. We were anticipating this move. Especially with Bitcoin, getting back above the 20-week moving average. ADA showing a general support region with respect to Bitcoin, which is more important, in my opinion, than say with respect to fiat, because with respect to Bitcoin, it really does tell a good story that okay, it's not continuing to lose value against say the index of the market. And since then, you can see that we're kind of looking fairly symmetrical. Came back down, moved sideways for a long time. Now we're going back up. Now, we talked about this region here a few times, and you can see we came up to it. We're looking at the weekly time frame. We came up to this region, held it as support for about 3 or 4 weeks, or held it as resistance for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then we broke through it. Okay, once we broke through it, we've been continuing to climb. Now, you see the daily noise of moving up a few cents, down a few cents. Really, what's a few cents among friends? But what we're talking about is where is ADA headed, right? There's a lot of different directions we could go, and as you know, most of it depends on what Bitcoin does. Now, with the anticipation of Shelley over the next in the next few weeks, it's entirely likely that ADA pumps in anticipation of that release. That doesn't mean it's going to continue going up say after the release. But as long as the market stays healthy, then I'd say there's a decent chance that this run will continue. Now, down here we were very optimistic. We started moving. Bitcoin was doing quite well. We said, all right, guys, Bitcoin keeps the status quo. It doesn't even have to go up as long as it just sits humdrum where it is at. We're good. We're good. And so far that's been the case. In the last video I made a couple weeks ago, it was after this candle, I believe. Maybe we were partially in this one. I can't remember, but I know it was sometime around here. I did say, okay, we've made the move. We've passed this resistance area that we really needed to get past. But we're getting it's becoming a little less certain, and the reason is because the valuation with respect to Bitcoin was going up quite rapidly. Our risk level, if you follow the channel, we talk about the risk metric for ADA. The risk metric was getting higher. We were above 10 cents, which, in the past, we know that 10 cents, was hard for us to break. I mean, this is the 10 cents level right here. And you can see it took us a long time to get past it. I mean, we really didn't get past it over here, except for maybe a few wicks. And now we are past it. So I said, okay, it's now time to be a little bit more cautious with where ADA is heading in the short term, just because of how explosive the move has been. What is optimistic to me right now for ADA is that we have not seen, despite the move up that we saw, we have not really retraced a whole lot. Meaning, it's still showing, as far as I can tell, it's still showing a lot of strength. We are not seeing an immediate retracement. You can still see we're around 1400 or so. This is pretty optimistic as far as I'm concerned. So again, nothing has really changed. The only thing you have to consider is I should say what I think is the main thing that you should consider is just whether Bitcoin's going to continue doing its thing. If Bitcoin stays 9100, 9200, 9300, then I'm pretty optimistic for ADA over the next several weeks. Now, does that mean that ADA has to go up tomorrow? No. I mean, we could be at 11 cents tomorrow. We could be at 12.5 cents tomorrow. We could be at 13.5 cents tomorrow. I can't say what's going to happen in the short term. But if you see Bitcoin, just keeping the status quo, basically remaining a stable coin in a sense between say 9100, maybe between like 9000 and 9400, then I think ADA is going to be looking good. Now, one of the things is I feel like the next key level is this one that's way up here. And if you look at it, you can see it corresponds to around 1866, 1870, somewhere in that area with respect to Bitcoin number of sats. And if you convert that, let's say that the valuation of Bitcoin stays the same, and you convert that to say cents, then that would correspond to an ADA valuation of around 17 cents. And when we get to 17 cents, if we get there, so if you see ADA, if you see a few more candles that get us up to this region, again, it's fully dependent on what Bitcoin does, or what it doesn't do, I should say. But if you see us get up to this point at around 17 cents, I do think that this could be a point that ADA might take a breather for a little bit. I do think that this level does have we can see that it did hold support back in March of 2019, and then it was that was ultimately our resistance region back in March or April of 2019. So I do think this is a key region we're going to be getting to. The main reason, though, is it's not drawing an imaginary line, but the risk level on ADA at this point would be around 0.5. And so as the risk goes up, then you really have to consider, okay, well, it's getting to a certain point. Maybe I sell like a small portion. This is not financial advice. You don't have to sell anything. But I do think it's good to take profits on the way up. And if we do get to this region up here at 1800, the 1860 range or so, then it might be time to say, okay, this has been an incredible run with respect to Bitcoin, but maybe we need to cool off. And if we were to do that, then that would be corresponding to over a 300% move. Okay, so a 300% move in the matter of about 4 or 5 months or so would be quite significant. And that's not to say that ADA would not continue to move up. I would hope it would. I hope it just goes up and up and up. But it's just recognizing, again, that we don't know what would happen in the short term, and that taking profits does leave you room for reducing your risk on coins that are, say, moving significantly in a short period of time, and then maybe rebuying back in later if it gives you the opportunity to. And again, it doesn't mean selling your entire position. It just means selling a very small portion of it, so that you're at least making sure that you're taking profits. The nice thing about taking profits is that you can't go broke taking profits. If you never take profits, if you just hold it forever, then you could theoretically go broke, because if it doesn't have to be ADA, it can be whatever coin. If that coin goes to zero and you never took profits along the way, it doesn't matter if it went up 100x. If you're not taking profits, then you're not capitalizing on that opportunity. So this is a primary point. It's we take profits on the way up. If it retraces, it gives you the opportunity to buy back in. If it doesn't, then you continue dynamically DCAing your sells on the way up. If you look at the USD chart, let's say we draw a line where we currently are, you can see the red line right there. It's already highlighted, but just to highlight it even further, but just get on that line, you can see that's where it is. This is around around 13 cents or so. So we have we're right up against that level. To give you an idea, I don't really think that it's that important on this chart per se, as much as it is on the Bitcoin chart. But if we were to go up to, say, 17 cents, then it would basically look like us making the move from where we currently are here up through this region. So this region in here, moving up to the top of that band. If Bitcoin stays the same, then we know that the valuation is going to get to this region, which does seem to be a level that might be worth considering. And you do have to consider the possibility, and obviously I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not gonna make videos pretending like I am, but you have to consider the possibility. This is one possible outcome over the next few weeks, is that we come up to this level, and then Shelley gets released, and then maybe there's a sell-off and we come back down. Probably not to these levels down here, but I could see us coming back down after such a nice move. And we might come back down. One way that we could come back down doesn't necessarily mean that the price of ADA has to go down. Right, one way that we come back down is just if ADA if it goes up and then the valuation in the US dollar stays the same, but then Bitcoin starts to make a move. Because if you noticed, a lot of times Bitcoin will make a move and then the rest of the market just sits still. People wonder, oh, I wish I held more Bitcoin. And then at some point after Bitcoin has made its move, okay, if it doesn't immediately retrace, so if you don't see Bitcoin immediately dropping, back down to a much lower level, the longer it stays at, say, a level like it is right now, between $9,000 and $10,000, then it slowly brings confidence back to the altcoin market like ADA. And this is why you're continuing to see these moves here, is because Bitcoin already went up, 3x or so since that $3,800 point. And since it went up like 3x and it's holding its ground in that region, this is what's giving confidence to ADA. And then you also had the fact that Shelley's being released, the incentivized testnet is going well. It just seems like there's so many developments right now. It's honestly hard to keep up with everything that they're doing. And so it's kind of just creating like the perfect storm for ADA. So this is certainly one of those coins that I do think it has tremendous potential during the duration of this bull run. I would love to see ADA go to several dollars over the next like 3 years or so. But just know there's going to be bumps along the way. There's going to be times where we move up, maybe we retrace. Sometimes it could be with respect to fiat or sometimes with respect to Bitcoin. It's going to be a long road, and we're going to be here for it. We're here for the ride. We're not going anywhere. We're going to cover it every step of the way. Now, we said that you need to watch where Bitcoin is, okay? Remember, the 20-week moving average historically is our telltale sign of a bull market. We've shown this before. Holding the 20-week moving average means that Bitcoin is really starting to kick off that bull market. So far, it has not confirmed whether the bull market has started. You might say, well, Bitcoin's been above the 20-week for quite a long time now. We've been above the 20-week for 77 days, 11 weeks. Well, we were also above the 20-week back in 2019 for 27 weeks, and then we fell through it. And then in 2020, earlier in 2020, we were above it for about 7 weeks, and we fell through it. So again, it's not until we come back down and test it. And what you want to see, right, is you want us to come back down and test it and hold it as support. You can see in the last bull market, when we really kicked it off, we held that 20-week moving average as support for 16 weeks. We're talking about 4 months almost of just basically moving sideways. So I know it's a boring time. Bitcoin, or I should say, not for ADA. For ADA, it's been very exciting. For Bitcoin, right now it's a fairly boring time because it's moving sideways. These movements are important though because they give more support to Bitcoin. They bring that confidence back to the altcoin market. And in addition to that, they give time for these other coins to really make their moves against fiat and against Bitcoin. This is when the other coins shine. I'm a huge proponent of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the largest holding in my cryptocurrency portfolio because it is the index of the market. But I think there's really key times that you can be in different coins to really continue to build your portfolio. And this is why I think ADA is one of those coins that is worth holding. And we primarily talk about 4 coins on the channel. We sometimes branch off to other coins, but the 4 main ones are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and Chainlink. And Cardano is certainly one that I want to hold this market cycle. And you can see currently, with Bitcoin, we've been moving sideways more or less, if you just count, say, being above the 20-week, we've been moving sideways more or less for 11 weeks. So ultimately, we want to hold the 20-week moving average. Doesn't mean we have to hold it at 8,200. If the price of Bitcoin were to, say, go up to 12,000 and then stabilize around there, then the 20-week moving average will follow it. Then maybe we hold the 20-week moving average at, say, a valuation of $10,000. I don't really know, but this is a possibility. What's the alternative? Well, what else could happen? Again, no one has a crystal ball, so we have to consider every possible path. Well, the other path is if Bitcoin all of a sudden gets really bearish and it breaks through the 20-week. Okay, so let's say Bitcoin drops to the 20-week moving average, and if it does that, then you can rest assured that the chances that ADA going up to this point are a lot less likely. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means that, typically I've been in crypto for a long time, and you don't even have to have been in crypto for a long time to just look at what happens on the charts. when you see a coin move like this, when you see like an altcoin go up, let's see and this is with respect to Bitcoin, you see it go up around 250% with respect to Bitcoin in only 13 weeks. And then if Bitcoin dumps, then coins that have done this are also likely to dump harder than Bitcoin. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to dump harder than, say, another random coin that never saw a move in the first place, but they're almost assuredly going to lose value with respect to Bitcoin. There are exceptions to the rule, of course. Link is one of those coins that does not tend to dump with respect to Bitcoin as much. But ADA, to be completely honest, ADA historically does not do so well when Bitcoin is below its 20-week moving average. It's just the facts. We stick to the data. We don't go, I'm not going to, sugarcoat it in any way. That's just what the data suggests. So don't hate the data messenger. Just hate the data if you have a problem with that. So that's what you want to look out for. At the end of the day, you need to look at the 20-week and see, okay, we're either going below 8,200, and if we're going below 8,200, then our final stop could theoretically be the 200-week moving average all the way down here at 6,200. And if we go to 6,200, then ADA is certainly going to be taking a hit. So those are the two main scenarios I see. If Bitcoin falls below the 20-week, then ADA is probably going to retrace a decent amount with respect to Bitcoin and with respect to fiat. If Bitcoin just kind of sits where it's at and doesn't move, then I'm hoping that, with the anticipation of Shelly and everything coming up, then we're going to see a move kind of to our next risk area. This is what I'm hoping for. And then I guess the third thing, right, is if Bitcoin itself moves up. So if Bitcoin decides, it's enough gains in the $9,000 to $10,000 range, we're going to kick it up a notch, we're going to go to $12,000, then things could get interesting, because then you might see things like where ADA doesn't lose value with respect to fiat, because if Bitcoin's going up, there's a good chance that ADA is going to at least hold its current ground, stay at 13 cents or so. But with respect to Bitcoin, in the short term, it could lose value. And that would just be because Bitcoin's going on a move, and when Bitcoin goes on a move, the rest of the market tends to chase those gains, and people want to get back into Bitcoin. It's just the natural flow of the market. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not going to show any custom charts in this video. I'm just showing TradingView. I know a lot of you guys appreciate just pulling up TradingView. Let me know what you guys think about it. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We also do have a Telegram channel, a public Telegram channel. It's over 4,000 members, so do check that out. And then finally, if you're still watching the video at this point, we also do have a premium list, and that gives you access to those risk levels I was talking about for ADA. It can help you time your entries and exits into the market. We have a premium video every week. Sometimes we have two. We recently just had two last week. We have a premium newsletter each week, and then also we just added a new perk. You have access to a private Telegram channel where I just kind of put out my own alerts and whatnot to inform you guys of what I'm seeing in the market. And that's actually not just with respect to crypto. We talk about Cardano, Chainlink, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, of course, but we also look at other things like Tesla, and we'll be posting stuff about more traditional markets, precious metals, that sort of stuff. So if you do sign up, or if you already are signed up and you're not in that premium channel, then make sure you send me a message on Telegram, and I'll make sure you get into that private channel. That'll wrap it up for this video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.